As Jim Sterling would say, these are a load of cotton. Hello. Hello! In this video we are looking at the Empire of Dust 4 Kings of War Vanguard. The Empire of Dust are essentially skeletal Egyptians, for want of a better term. Most of them are skeletal, some are zombie like beasts, some of them are just little beasts such as scarab swarms or whatnot. So there we go. So the Warband special abilities, there are quite a few. Entomb. During deployment, up to half your Warband's models rounded up with this special rule may be set aside and declared to be in waiting in ambush under the ground. These entombed models can only arrive using the attack from below special rule. Any models that fail to arrive by the end of the game are casualties killed. This is kind of a risk-reward thing, which we'll go on to more when we talk about the second ability, where you can leave them in, and they might be good for getting the objectives. However, you leave it too long, it's not going to work too well. Attack from below. Use this ability once during any of your turns. For each power you spend, because you need at least 1 power per model, you can place one currently entombed model anywhere in open terrain within 9 inches of a friendly Empire of Dust command model. This cannot be a model that was itself entombed and set up this round, and more than 3 inches away from any enemy models. Models set up in this way are marked as activated. You may still activate other models as normal. This ability is not limited to once per round, just once per turn. So yeah, if you're just leaving all your all your command entombed, then this is going to be a hard thing to pull off, because if you don't have the power to pull it off, you are going to be knacked. Also, if your command are dead, any entombed model are pretty much dead. Next is Deathless Bound. Unlike a normal warband, an Empire of Dust warband is not broken once it has less than half its models remaining. Instead, when the last command model in an Empire of Dust warband is killed, the warband is broken regardless of the number of models it has remaining. See, this is where the entomb thing works really well, because you could theoretically leave your commanders just entombed for the entire, well, until the last turn. And then just bring them up, sort of thing. It'd be a bit of a silly thing, really, if you're going for a more serious game, because you're probably not going to get the objectives that quickly and whatnot. But it's an option, I'd say. Back from the grave. While the warband is not broken, all standing undead models within 6 inches of a friendly command model, including grunts that are reduced to 0 or fewer wounds, automatically get a down but not out result. Undead models attacked in melee when already knocked down are removed as normal if reduced to 0 or fewer wounds. Once the warband is broken, however, all undead models that are reduced to 0 or fewer wounds automatically get a too much damage result. So yeah, I can see there is a good reason to keep command models entombed for most of the game, but you've got to realise the Back from the Grave and the Deathless Bound will be greatly affected by how many command models you've got. The faction specific spells then. Weakness, which is long. Range 9, 2d8. If any hits are scored instead of suffering a wound, the model may roll a maximum of 2d8, including any bonus dice, for any ranged or melee attack that it makes until the end of the round. It's got a boosted version, costs 1 power. As above, but in addition, any hits will halve the target's speed stat, rounding down, and it may not use the crushing strength special roll if it has any until the end of the round. This is a good thing, but only on anything. Well, it'd be good against ogres. It'd be pretty naff on most grunt and warrior models because their shooting in close combat is usually 2d8s anyway, which means unless you're using the boosted version, does nothing. Second one, Sandstorm, which is also long, 12-inch range, 3d8, piercing 1. If the target suffers any wounds, they are marked as fatigued, which is fairly decent. 12-inch range, 3d8, piercing 1. It's not bad. I perchance risk replacing one of the spells for this, if I'm honest. So starting with the grunts, we first have the skeleton. 6 points, 20mm base. Speed 4, melee 5+, range 6+, armour 5+, nerve 6+, 1 wound, height 2. It's got the entombed special roll, no ranged stat, and melee 1d8. 6 points for what it is, fairly standard and does what it needs. Armour's not bad, melee's not bad. It's only got 1d8, but for 6 points you're kind of really not expecting too much. Next we have the skeleton archer. 7 points, 20mm base. Speed 4, melee 6+, range 6+, armour 6+, nerve 6+, 1 wound, height 2. Entombed, 1d8 at range, 1d8 at melee. It's got bow, which is 12-inch range. I'd have thought this would have been range 5+, to be honest, considering it's a point more. Okay, you're getting a bow and a shooting value, but apart from that, your armour's worse, your melee's worse. Gives you a bit of fluffy shooting, but apart from that, nah. Next we have the Desert Swarm. 10 points, 40mm base. Speed 6, melee 7+, armour 7+, nerve 4+, 2 wounds, height 1. Swarm and vicious. 2d8 at melee. They're inside my armour. Needs 2 power to use. You may use this ability when the Desert Swarm attacks a model in melee and gets 1 or more hits. The target cannot make any armour roll to save against these hits. This is an interesting ability. It's also a bit of a risky one because you only get a 2 out of 8 times you will hit. You're only getting 2d8s as well, which kind of is your problem. Armour is 7, so it's easily hurt. Nerve of 4. It's not really affected by the it's not really affected from the back from the grave rule, which it is what it is, I guess. Next we have the models. Next we have the warriors, starting with the Revenant. 10 points, 20mm base. Speed 4, melee 5+, no range stat, armour 4, nerve 6, 2 wounds, height 2. Entombed and got 2d8 at close combat, no range. 10 points, only 4 more than a skeleton. Armour's way better. It's got 2 wounds. Is there anything else? Got an extra d8 for close combat. It's alright. It's cheap, especially for something that's armour 4. That's very cheap. Next we have the Mummy. 16 points, 20mm base. Speed 4, melee 5+, no range stat, armour 5, nerve 5, 3 wounds, height 2. Crushing strength 1, regeneration 6+. It's got 3d8 melee. Curse, needs 1 power to use. You may use this ability when an enemy model inflicts 1 or more unsaved wounds on the mummy. The enemy model is marked as cursed until the end of the round. Cursed models suffer a -1 penalty on all their attack, armour and nerve rolls. This is not cumulative with other sources of curse, but with other applicable modifiers. So you could be you could have a load of mummies near each other and getting attacked and having curses flung about all over the place. That's really funny, actually. For 16 points, it is very decent. 3d8 at melee, crushing strength 1, regenerates. You've got the curse, which you probably not use all the time, but it's there. And 3 wounds. I mean, yeah, you can't entomb them. You can entomb the Revenant champions, though. The Revenants, sorry. To be honest, I wouldn't really bother with the skeletons, because the Revenants kind of do the same thing but survive a lot more, and as do the mummies, but they cost a bit more. Nearly three times the cost of a skeleton, but a lot more effective, really. Let's be honest. Next we have the support, starting with the Revenant champion. 26 points, 20 mil base, gives you 1 red power dice. Speed 4, melee 4+, no range stat, armour 4, nerve 5, 3 wounds, height 2, crush strength 1 and entombed. Got 3d8 at melee. Directed effort. Other Empire of Dust skeletons and revenants in this warband add +1 bonus dice to their ranged and melee attack rolls while involved in any type of group action with the Revenant champion. That's very decent. It's kind of like a mini commander in a way. Gives them bonus dice. The Revenant Sword getting 2, so gets 3. Skeletons getting 1, so gets 2. Yeah, I can see this being very effective. Skeleton archers then getting 2d8 at range. It's not bad. It's not bad. Give it a go. Next is the Sandwraith. 23 points, 20 mil base. Speed 6, melee 4+, armour 4+, no range stat. Nerve 5+, 2 wounds, height 2. Crush strength 1, entomb, fly and stealthy. 2d8 at melee. What's it got that's different to the Revenant champion? It's 3 points cheaper. It can fly. It's also got stealthy. And it's speed 6, so it's got some movement on it. So I can see why you take a mix of Sandwraiths and Revenant champions. Actually, I can see the point in that. Next we have the large / spellcaster, because it's the same thing. So it uses your large slot and uses one of your spellcaster slots if you take one of these. Enslaved Guardian, 4 points, 40 mil base. Speed 5, melee 5+, range 6+, armour 4+, nerve 4, 5 wounds, height 3, crush strength 2 and parry. 5d8, oh Jesus, 5d8 in melee, none at range. It's got Wind Blast, which is long range. Sorry, long. Dijin Unleashed. When this model is killed, all other models within 3 inch, friend and foe, must make an armour roll to avoid suffering a wound. This kind of means you kind of need the Enslaved Guardian away from all your other models in the same warband. It's also very good for what it does. Melee for 5+, not bad. 5d8, so you're going to get a few hits through. It's got crush strength 2, which is going to really hurt. Armour 4 and nerve 4. It's not going to go anywhere anytime soon. I can't see Wind Blast being used that much because it's on 6s or higher, but you have the option anyway. Next we have the command / spellcaster. So this means it uses 2 slots, a command slot and a spellcaster slot. High Priest, 37 points, 20 mil base. Power dice, 1 white power dice. Speed 5, melee 6+, range 5+, armour 4+, nerve 5, 4 wounds, height 2. 1d8 at range, 2d8 at melee. It's got Fireball, which is short, Heal short, and Wind Blast, which is long. Range Boost, which uses 2 power dice. Use this ability to increase the range of one of the caster's spells by 6 inches, where a range is specified. The range boost must be paid for during the caster's activation just before the chosen spell is cast. So if you cast the spell before you pay the power, you can't do that. You have to pay the power before casting the spell. It's not bad. It's a little bit expensive considering how much you need to rely on command models, to be honest. But you know, got Fireball and Heal, so that'll help things stay in the fight. Though 1d8 at range, it's got options, I guess. It's got options. Next we have the Command. Pharaoh's Champion. 48 points, 20mm base. Gives you 1 blue power die. Speed 5, melee 3+, range 5+, armor 4, nerve 4, 4 wounds, height 2. Crush strength 2, inspiring, regenerate 6+. Ranged 1d8, melee 4d8. And it's got Curse, which same as the Mummies, and uses 1 power to do so, same as the Mummies. It's expensive considering you need quite a few command models, but it is a melee monster, kind of like the Enslaved Guardian, but if it dies, nowhere near as risky. Hits on 3s in close combat, armor's the same, nerves the same, range is a bit better, which isn't really going to be much of an issue, I would have thought. Can regenerate and got inspiring, which helps a fair bit. Even if you don't use a lot of command models, actually looking at this, no command models can actually be entombed, so that kind of negates my theory of keeping all your command models entombed. That's not possible. But yeah, as a close combat command model, well, it's a close combat model in general, the Pharaoh's Champion's very good. The Empire of Dust then. This force can be used really effectively. They can be very resilient to damage, and you can have a hell of a lot of them, especially if you just take skeletons and pretty much nothing else. Your main issues are that your shooting is a bit naff, and to get the most out of them, i.e. getting a fair few command models so your stuff can stay alive a fair bit, is going to mean you are going to be spending a lot of your points in High Priest and Pharaoh's Champion. What you've also got to remember is your High Priest is also taking up your Spellcaster slot, which if you haven't got enough Grunts or Warriors and you want to take an Enslaved Guardian, well, sorry, can't do that. They do have a fair bit of crushing strength, and they do have some power dice support options, with the Revenant's Champion, the High Priest giving a white, and a Pharaoh's Champion giving a blue. They've also got a flying unit in the Sand Wraith, which is fairly nice. And the Enslaved Guardian, good God, armor 4 with 5 dice in melee. That is nasty. So, thank you for watching. Goodbye for now.